Hello and welcome here, everyone, to day number 1 of the Department of Air Force Gaming League Summer 2025 playoffs. My name is Orbital. With me is Bearlight. We'll be your casters throughout the upcoming 2 days. We are very, very excited to be here. Shout out again to our sponsor, the USAA. Of course, we are underway with day number 1's Marvel Rivals semifinals and finals. So, Bearlight, how you feeling?
What a great honor it is to be here, Orbital, in support of the premier esports competition circuit for our nation's own Air Force and Space Force. I mean, to see these airmen and guardians find common ground with each other, sharpening their competitive performance through esports. It's so gratifying, and I'm just have a pleasure to see it in action here today.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. Now, to keep in mind, this is the playoffs of the summer side. So far, the teams have been playing through an entire amazing season so far, and that means it all culminates here. It is going to be an absolute treat here. As you can see, the semifinals and grand finals will be played out here. Now, when we say semifinals, it is one of the semifinal matches, and then we will have the grand finals later. Semifinals will be BO3, grand finals will be BO5. All of those will be played here on stream. But that is only day number 1, because day number 2 will have even more action. We have a kill race going on over there, as well as a Street Fighter 6 grand finals as well, which will be an absolute treat, which for myself, it's going to be very, very entertaining. I mean, 3 amazing titles, Bear Light, what can we ask for?
They're my top 3 titles as well these days. So I'm excited to see not only the level of competition that they bring in here, just because I know these players are ultimately competitive here in the Department of Defense. And obviously, you know, with this schedule, you'll see a lot of stories being made and brewing over the course of the season will be brought into the playoffs here today, and you will see the heart and soul of all of these teams.
It's going to be one for the storyboards. Now, of course, they're not just here to play for the playoffs. They're here for a little bit of a cash prize as well. Every single tournament in every single league has its own small prize pool, which is going to be a treat all on its own. All of those will be awarded as well to the top paying, I believe, top 4 and top 8, actually, here. All those that have made it here to the playoffs will get a share of that prize, which is awesome. So awesome to hear that their hard work is rewarded.
Yeah, you get that in-game currency with the Lattice #1. Of course, you get the big trophy that says Sheer Summer Champions from 2025. And what's kind of cool to me here as well, Orbital, is a $100 action figure. I know it's like smack dab in the middle of the sandwich here for first place, but that's honestly like the most exciting in my eyes, at least. I mean, that's super cool. Plus, you've got the DAFGL flag coming your way at first place and $200 in AFG gift cards as well. So certainly stacked on that end. Of course, Lattice flag in 125 in gift cards here for second place, third and fourth, $75 in the gift cards and that Lattice, and then fifth and eighth place, you're still not going home empty-handed. So if you made the playoffs, you're making $50.
And honestly, I think the treat at the end of the day is the fact that you even made it here and you get to play, because I know throughout the 6 to 5 weeks that teams have played, they have put on an absolute show. So we have a lot of amazing teams that have played already here to reach this playoff side. Unfortunately, we aren't able to showcase all of them, but we will give a name to their talents and to their status as those that have made it here into the playoffs. With that being said, here it is day number 1. Please keep that in mind. So it is going to be our quarter finalists that you saw so far, or at least you'll hear their names: Jeff Only, Tyndall Rejects, The Hill Directive, Tickle Monsters, The Boneyardigans, Shriver SFB, The Natural Ones, and Sky Raiders. All 8 of these teams joined on in, but the ones that you're going to be watching, number 1, are Sky Raiders, who went ahead and made their way into the grand finals, and then we are matched up with 2 teams: Jeff Only, the 1st seed from the regular season, and The Hill Directive, 4th seed, coming in here.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing matchup. And as far as the bracket goes, you know, for the most part, everything played out as expected based on the results we've seen over the course of the season. The seeding held true, except for one team that stands out. You mentioned them already, Sky Raiders, all the way from their 6th seed position. What an opportunity for them, going all the way to the finals here, for their opportunity to play for first place, already secured at least 2nd place as well. So they have definitely stood out here as the number 1 versus number 4. Maybe it's something that we anticipated here with Jeff Only versus the Hill Directive. Shout out to Sky Raiders. We'll see them a little bit later on today.
Yep. Now, keep in mind, I know you see 1-0s across the board. Please keep in mind, we have been informed that those were 2-0s from my understanding. Those are all matches that were played in the best of 3 format, so it's just a little bit of that piece of the pie. Of course, at the end of the day, Bear Light, it's only one match that matters. It's the one that hasn't been played yet. It's Jeff Only versus the Hill Directive, and that is our first matchup of the day. It is going to be a treat and a half. So let's go ahead and introduce our team. Starting off, your first seed, quite possibly the strongest team here on the day, Jeff Only.
Jeff Only representing that joint base San Antonio. 7 of these players from the GBSA Lackland, and then 1 from GBSA Randolph. They are operating under the 502nd Air Base Wing. JBSA rather contains a population of around 80,000 and supports up to 130,000 students annually. So it's the largest joint base in the Department of Defense. This is a team that certainly is surrounded in the state of Texas, where esports absolutely thrive.
And of course, that is going to be V Hill Cyber Pilot, the Vet Airman, VGen, as well as Sir Slay. There's so much more to be had, as you saw the other team on the other side. The Hill Directive will be joining on in. And for the Hill Directive, it is going to be that test. If you want to go ahead and introduce them as well, because they deserve it. They made it here. They beat Tickle Monsters 2-0. I'm excited to see what they can throw down.
Absolutely, yeah. They're representing that Hill Air Force Base as well, just north of Salt Lake City, Utah. The 75th Air Base Wing oversees 1 million acres and more than 1,700 facilities, valued at about $4 billion rather. So they support all sorts of squadrons on that, and 50 mission partners as well, in addition to that orbital. So 27,000 personnel, more than that on this base. So it is certainly a thriving area, and these players, you could say about the same.
That's awesome to hear. For the side of the Hill Directive, we got Rumors, Steel Kaiju, Jekyll's, as well as Watcho, I believe Blind Savior, and Adonis. Ha!
There you go. Yeah.
And I know how to pronounce. I am so sorry about that one. I'm very, very excited to see what they can all throw down, because remember, this is a BO3. Now to dive into the specifics, though, we have to put this out there. You and I come from the collegiate side. We come from the AM side of esports. But here's the deal. Normally, maps are picked. Normally, maps are selected by the higher seed, and maybe the lower seed are the ones that lost later. We have blind map rotation. If you have been watching this summer league so far, you know about this already. But for those maybe tuning in for the first time, it is random map selection the entire way through the series.
It's going to be crazy for sure. I mean, it kind of leaves it up in the air to some degree. I mean, I'm a fan of map bans here and there, but to just leave it up to choice here in my opinion, I think it's fun. I think it's great for these players. It kind of evens the ground too, as far as maybe you land on a map that the lesser seed has a little bit more experience on, so it gives you a little bit of that balance. So I'd love to see that here today, of course, across the 3 map types in Convoy, Domination, and Convergence. So you'll keep an eye on which one we land at, because it could be ones that are usually banned out on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's just, it's one of its own. And not only that, I'm always kind of curious, because for me, I know teams have maps they really, really don't like to play. Some of these maps, especially when it comes to, I think Convoy, there are specific maps that you just sit there and you just like, I don't want to play it. Some Convoys, I know you run the 3-3, right? If you're running some of those 3 Vanguards and then 3 strategists in the background, it is a stall tactic. Like, there are certain maps that you can get away with. So in my eyes, if you're looking at Jeff only, which I'm assuming there's a Jeff coming out here, you can only assume that at the end of the day, what map is going to be the best for them? As actually we go ahead and get info.
Wow.
As we go to Domination first, T'Challa Burnin', or Burnin' T'Challa, going ahead and being our first.
Yeah, that would be, again, this is balanced. It's one that we find ourselves in pretty regularly in competition, so just fitting that we find ourselves here anyways. I think that'll play into favor, to your point, of Jeff only, as certainly a lot of space to uphold, but Jeff does a great job of being able to hit heals and a little bit of damage in the meantime. Plus, his ultimate is incredibly frustrating. It's Jeff is something you don't want to see in your back mirror, man.
Yeah, and I think Jeff on this one as well becomes not just a simple strategist, but is well known, you know, in the Marvel Rivals community as being a single point menace. You just mentioned the ultimate, you just mentioned that Devour the Gobble and everything, and it's just like, that is the greatest stall tactic. If you're an OT and you have to relieve the entirety of the enemy squad, whether you actually are able to chomp anyone or not, you deny them that point on the map. So it's, if Jeff is coming through, that's going to be the treat at the end of the day. If not, then it's a whole different story. As we go ahead and load on into round 1 of the map number 1 of this semifinals. Let's get it.
All right, kicking it off for sure, as we've got a portal to kick this off into maybe some action early. That's typically what you see on a regular basis with this, and sure enough, right into your face, and let's get cooking, Orbital.
I love it. You portal, but instead you bring the opponents to you. So Adonis goes down immediately. Watch Show does as well. And you bump yourselves up to about a 20-30% boost. That is a huge win for Jeff Only as they're starting out here on that blue side, but tag goes over to Hill Directive first as they're going to start ramping up that percentage.
Yeah, no harm done in that first exchange. Obviously, you like to get off to that quick advantage, but as these players kind of settle in, you'll notice that some of the patterns will certainly become more comfortable, like we're used to seeing. Jeff Only already looking to try and gain a little bit of that advantage from a ground standpoint. Their positioning certainly better, and you see that Luna Snow's already down, I believe. There's a couple of strategists down, so the Hill Directive probably not going to live long here.
No, you go ahead. You kind of lost out. The only reason that you were able to turn point first is because you actually had 2 portals away. Jeff Only were more focused on staggering those takedowns. So I really do appreciate that. Vet Airman, though, running on that side, making sure to keep everyone at bay. We know good sides are able to really pop off. You're able to build out that ultimate ASAP, and you can already see 90% and counting. Hill Directive now sitting off on the sidelines, recognizing that they're going to be in a little bit of trouble, but Cyber making sure to step up for the battle. This is going to be that Captain America swap out, and there's going to be Vet Airman just popping off on that ultimate, slicing straight through 2, off on the sidelines. Hill Directive lose both of their carries, and that means the rest of the team will fall just as quickly.
Yeah, unfortunately, for the Hill Directive, they're going to have to be able to make adjustments quickly because they haven't been able to keep their strategists alive at all. So you have to turn in support. Otherwise, there's basically no point in trying to approach those fights. It makes it almost impossible when you're in that situation.
Oh, no! And the immediate devour. Go ahead, take 2. You grab the Doctor Strange, you grab the blade as well. There's no way to really toss off the opponents, but you toss them directly in to the Black Panther, and you just annihilate them off rip, which now allows Hill Directive to fall just as well. Jeff Only making sure that these deaths are perfectly on the left.
Spawn camping basically at this point. Didn't even have to use the Bass Descent either. You see that still in his pocket. Now it'll be used and utilized, and really it's just to be a bit of a nuisance here. They've already ticked up the point to 76%. Credit the Hill Directive for getting that quick start of 24%, but they are having trouble getting out of their own spawn.
That's going to be the roughest part. They have to group up, but the grouping up is only doing their own. So Jeff Only exerting dominance in more ways than one. The Penny Parker making sure to lay down those spider webs, keep these doorways focusing. Here's the difficult part. Hill Directive have to recognize that you got to break out sometime. Jekyll's is going to go ahead, try and drop that ult, try and bring a little bit more with Cloak and Dagger, but honestly, that ult is only going to do so much. You don't really have anyone to step up. Watcho was able to throw down on Vet Airman, but it's already over. Jeff Only take away map 1.
Man. Quick work for sure. Obviously, dominant performance goes without saying. And, once that first exchange, all the cheekiness kind of fell through, it was certainly the #1 seed that was showing why they're the #1 seed. Absolute coordination from all members of this team. And it's very annoying comp to go against. You've got the Freedom Charge still online, by the way, for this next engagement. But I feel like even though Captain America doesn't have the health and survivability that they did earlier in the existence of Marvel Rivals, still have to put up with all of that health and all of that support from the backline that was clicking too. You've got extra damage with that low key, plus of course Jeff only right for the brand that they come in and do a great job. In addition to that, plus we saw all the damage that Black Panther can do these days. After I believe it was the season 3 patch and still into this one, they were just absolutely dynamic from the get-go.
I mean, Cyber Pilot even putting up double digits with 0 deaths. Untouchable so far, even though you are a Vanguard. That's just how strong Cyber Pilot currently is. Going to the map number 2, though, a little bit more open space to play with, so maybe you see Hill Directive stepping out to play. Bottleneck already, though, as Jeff Only stepped up to the plate, laid out damage to Sir Slay, making sure to be right in that front line. But I think a little extra damage versus touch is going to be on top of Hill Directive. But of course, the point isn't unlocked, which now means Jeff Only get all the kills in the world. Down goes Cyber Pilot, first death of this map, but so far it is Jeff Only to win out in heavy fashion.
Yeah, watch as the Black Panther just dives on the back line. Of course, that makes it incredibly difficult, and they try to keep the Luna alive, but Rumor was in trouble, and Jekyll's couldn't quite turn and face either way, so when they went to go ahead and try to keep their Luna afloat, there was nothing they could do about it. And then when they eventually tried to commit to that, Luna was down, and the rest of the team followed suit because they only had one strategist, and they were distracted. So again, Jeff Only playing a little bit cheeky here, making it difficult for him to breathe at all, to be honest.
taking away those duelists, making sure that the Iron Man can't play at all. Because you lost that duelist, though, Jekyll's going to try and throw down, lays down that blanket ult as much as possible, but it only delays. Once again, you're not on point. VGen is going ahead and stepping up too bad. Another Devour to come out here because that other one was just an echo. The True brings pain to 3. Or that's the echo in itself because VGen does just as well. Hill Directive lose 3. They're going to lose a few more as Jeff only win yet another team fight.
The Hill Directive are at least taking steps in the right direction, getting around all that, as even the invincible Bulls Cannon was able to land one there, unfortunately. So they took them out and by storm. So even when you make a little bit of progress, it's taken away, because then you get past that pesky Black Panther, but then you have a Jeff waiting for you, swallow you up, throw you off the edge.
Hill Directive, they're going to try and hold their own, but that Airman saying no, bring the fire, bring the pain, in more ways than one. The Phoenix rips through 2. Hill Directive lose out. When I backpacked, was like, yo, I'm just along for the ride. I was here to fight, and I don't need much more. What a snipe, that Airman taking out the aerial support.
Goodness. Everything seems to be landing. Their accuracy's on point. The only way that the Hill Directive really feel like they have a chance would be if Jeff only wasn't prepared for this match, and clearly they come in ready to go, having some support from your strategist, having that support from the Black Panther and everything else that's developed, but a chance for them to try to stay on this point as it ticks up to 100.
I mean, I appreciate the attempt, but at the end of the day, it is going to be that GG OT time. Now Jeff only take 2 rounds in style, which puts game 1 in their pockets. The first seed starting off to a strong start.
Yeah, that 1-0 came in incredibly fast. I mentioned it in the pregame, and here we're seeing it firsthand, that Texas just lives, breathes, and dies with esports. And it's certainly showing that culture not only is just within the civilian population, but also through the Air Force Department of Defense, because they showed up and showed out early with this one, the way that they're able to play with one another, but the way they're able to play away from one another to make sure that they're not getting CC'd and spread out and play a distance from each other without surrendering positioning was impressive to me. This team is clicking, and I have a feeling it might be a quick one if they continue the same pattern.
Yeah, they were in full control, and one of the things their staggering was phenomenal as well. One of the big things that I always talk about in these kind of team-based shooter matchups is you have to learn how to stagger. You can't always go for the big wombo combo. You have to go for those staggers. You have to recognize that just taking out one player at a time can actually have massive impact. You start staggering those timers, all of a sudden they always are a man down for 5 to 6 seconds. That's huge opportunities for you at the end of the day, and definitely are able to do this in 2 different directions. So, gonna load back on in. We are going straight on over to another treat of its own. No, we're looking at the replays. My brain was lost there. We're looking at some of the replays.
Sabres coming into this next map.
Yeah, go ahead, shake things up, see how well you can do. Again, you made it into playoffs. You knew this was going to be a hard matchup. I think Jeff only... I'd be very curious to see their regular season records, because honestly, they look like the actual team to beat. So, that's what I'm looking at there. So, Hill Directive, as you said, try and flex things around, see what you can get away with. And again, maybe you can get away with some of those different heroes. I know we saw the Blade earlier in round 1. Obviously, maybe go back to Comfort. Blade was just released recently, so a lot of players, I think, are still getting used to it. Now, I say that, and yet I know a few Blade players that have actively spent already like 100 or so hours on this hero and are just flying through the rankings with it. So, everyone has their own thoughts on it. But go back to Comfort, go back to Easy. I mean, there are some that we talk about. The Groot is always a fun one to use at the end of the day. The Thing can also be a nasty one if you're looking for that Vanguard. And just trying to counter this Captain America, trying to keep this Captain America away is such a pain for them.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point with Blade being new, just released 2 weeks ago. So actually, it's exciting. The first time we'll get to see a little bit of love from Blade in any competitive tournament, which is super cool that we were able to feature it here. And that being said, I don't think it was the right map choice either. So I don't mind if we see them go to a Blade if you run into a situation, and you probably will here, whether it be Convoy or Convergence. Regardless, there should be a little bit more of that choke point where you can utilize a lot of his skills and where they work extremely well. So I wouldn't be too disappointed by seeing a Blade if that's the case. But at the same time, if it's not working, the Comfort pick is certainly something, especially on the largest stage here. I know it's a semifinals, but you're going up against the best team. You're here with all eyes on you. So I do agree with you there.
Yeah, we got to be a little bit careful about that one because it's always going to be so dangerous if you make that wrong mistake, if you make that wrong choice.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you got to live with that choice, of course. Now, I do want to give a big shout out. Right now, we are diving in to game number 2. And, you know, we say that. Is that for real?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
It is random. It is random, though.
Yeah. And can you imagine, though, the chances of that to walk in 2? And if there's no way, okay, so you're gonna be sitting there in
oh my God!
There. I don't think so.
No, I think it's true. I think they. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
run it back,
on,
baby. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. Run it back.
So the reason we're so almost all the maps are open. We have 9 maps available, right? We have all 3 Convoy, Yggdrasil, as well as Tokyo 2099, Midtown for Convoy. Domination is Yggdrasil, Empire Wakanda, and then Hydra Charter Space. And then for Convergence is Tokyo 2099, of course, Intergalactic Empire Wakanda, and then Clintar. That's 9 different maps. We have 9 different maps in pool, and you rolled a single digit. I guess not single digit, double digit, but like low end, 12% chance of getting the same map again? Are you kidding me?
That's the second pool too, so I think the probability is actually extremely lower than that, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my God.
Which is insane to me.
Okay. Oh, they re-rolled. Okay. We got confirmation they re-rolled. I'm so happy about that. Again, you don't want to play the same map twice in a row. It is going to be Symbiotic Surface, though, on Clintar, a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly. We got your convergence map here, obviously, so for some variety. When we talk about domination, it's very open typically, and that's what we saw in the first iteration here. With Symbiotic Surface, it certainly opens up on the tail end of this map whenever you literally get out of the building itself specifically, but at the very beginning, it gives you a prime opportunity to be able to use more than just a couple lanes to be able to get to where you're going and perhaps move an objective, which is something that we haven't seen either versus just the point hold, for example. So if anything's going to shift, I feel like it literally has to come here and now in this best of 3, but it has to happen early in this map to really have a feeling like the Hill Directive can really hold up to Jeff only.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and see that here as the picks and bans are coming through here. Jeff only already taking away that Luna Snow, saving the Jeff, obviously. They have to use that one. On the other side, though, the Emma Frost, and I really do appreciate this one. Emma Frost is also a tank at the front lines. I believe it was banned away in game number 1 as well against Jeff only, but Emma Frost is one of the most brutal vanguards out there. Now, saving the Cloak and Dagger, very nice, very understandable.
Yep.
I would be a little bit surprised to not see a Wolverine get dealt with here. I know a lot of teams in the current competitive circuit just really hate that, but there might be a kind of agreement between teams. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, small nerf to the ultimate on him, but at the same time, I still think Wolverine is worth banning just based on like the value you get from it anyways, and the annoyance that really you have to put up with if he's still there too. But you see Black Panther and now Rocket Raccoon going to be banned as well, so a couple of those coming off the board here.
Yeah, and not just that, the Black Panther, I think Backpack used that to such good utility last time, really making sure to always be in the backline. As we said, the dive bombing action, almost as good as a Psylocke, but once again, the Captain America and the Jeff are being safe, so you can see where Jeff only really put the prioritization, which actually puts Hill Directed in a very dangerous spot, because you're like, okay, they already locked in their front line and back line, and now they have an extremely flexible duelist middle section. How do we deal with this one? We say the Magneto this time. We are going to hang on to it as much as possible, and we're going to play with it as best as possible. I think you need to go with another DPS deal put. You know, go ahead, maybe look at that Psylocke, maybe look at that Phoenix. I would not want to deal with a team up of silly ages at the end of the day, but they go ahead and target B-Gen's Loki, which again, very impactful in map 1.
I don't mind that at all either. I think, you know, with the amount of damage that you lay out these days, especially with the new team ups that we have for Loki, is just, it feels broken at times. And I think they felt a lot of that. And that's why they're like, hey, let's get rid of that beforehand. What they weren't able to get rid of was that Captain America either. So I imagine that's probably going to come back because of the effectiveness of it. Why change? Don't fix it if it ain't broken. So that's going to be their motto coming in, is Jeff only. And for the Hill Directive, they're going to have to support. It's enough. It's not enough to just save, Cloak and Dagger here on the save screen. You actually have to save their lives when their HP is ticking down there towards the tail end of this map.
All right, well, we're going to dive on in as we are set to fly, and we get a Magic coming out here. Very unique pool of duelists. So far, Vet Air has now played, I think, 3 uniques, and not only that, moving into kind of a more melee bruiser style. Remember, the Psylocke was up there before, but Magic is much more close range, much more annoying at the end of the day. So to see them on it and then Backpack actually on the side is going to be a treat.
You get yourself a flyer, switch it up a little bit. The Iron Man making the return here. So, yeah, we'll look to see how Hill Directive can push in, because this is certainly getting out of spawn has not been favorable for them. So I see Jeff only. I thought they were going to play a little bit more aggressively, but as you can see, they give him a little bit of space here. Maybe just allowing them to get to the choke and kind of ripping them open. We'll have to see him play it by ear.
Well, I like it already, Adonis, who we saw before get a little bit bullied, now on the bullier, and I say that with all the love of my heart, because we know Spider-Man is the best in the neighborhood, but you're out of the neighborhood now. You better show you can rule the galaxy in one way or another. Jeff only, though, on the defensive with Backpack, looking for a route already, looking for Rumor, and Rumor's already kind of picked off here. Jekyll's on the top rope, worried about how much his DPS is going to lay down, and it's an easy pickoff. What a quick slaughter of 4. That is Hill directed to lose the hill they're dying on.
Yeah, exactly. This is not exactly the start they were looking for. I like it because it worked last time. Last map, you got the portable, and it really did end up working out. But as you can see, they're going to switch over to Venom instead as Watch Show. They pulled that in the first map. It worked really well. They got some good positioning there and were able to put up more of a fight than we've actually seen them in the domination map. That's a plus, but the rest of it not so great, as they already recognize the switch, and that's why Jeff only is taking a little bit of more space here in the opening.
Not only that, this map specifically, you can choke point about, a couple steps outside of the spawn as well, and that's actually what Jeff only are doing. They allowed the initial push, they announced the initial portal, and now they bottleneck. That's exactly what they do. Not only that, they're forcing Adonis to not be able to swing up to the side, not allowed for that flank. Hill Directive are losing member after member. Rumu is trying their best. Rumu is trying to keep everyone topped up and healthy. There's only so much healing that you can do because Cyber Pilot sends the Venom straight into the ground. No team up. Can't save you as Backpack says,
no.
Get on my backpack. Get on my back as we wash through Hill Directive yet again.
Adonis, just to kind of add to it, unfortunately webbed right into that Dance of the Butterfly, and so they caught it, and so a triple kill just kind of fell into their hands. It would have been a double anyways, but that's great. But Dark Child's gonna be pulled here too. They saw them gearing up, so shout out to the observers on this one, as Vet Airman is going to try and cause a little bit of chaos here on the back lines. But this is the first real push we're seeing from the Hill Directive. But of course, Jeff looking to take that away as they are able to swallow up one. But Rumor's being chased out the back door as well by Cyber Pilot, and Vet Airman got to him.
Vet Airman, leave no one behind. Save your co-pilot, save your wingman. Make sure you always got a team. And that is the way you do it. Sir Slays on, making sure to cover everyone in the webbing as Hill Directive expend every ult they had at the time. Jeff only responded with their own, and that is 2 minutes, 45 seconds shaved off.
Working in tandem, just being able to, space yourself, be confident in 1v1 fights, but being able to support from the back line. This Jeff is showing why they've named themselves after it. A fantastic work on the Jeff v. Jeff situation there, too. V-Hill was able to work with it, and now you see Cyber Pilot on the front lines doing the same thing.
Got one more big push. You have the ultimates to play with. Hill Directive are trying, but they're losing too many members. Yet again, Jeff only says you better worship this Jeff. Nobody on Jeff only is following your Cyber Pilot playing with fire. Backpack slaying them left, right, and center. That's even Cyber Pilot and Vet getting in on the action. At least 30 seconds to go. That's all Hill Directive currently have to try and take their offensive. No, not even a chance. Not even a chance. Feels like this is all mine.
Crazy. Bill swallowed one out the door already, and that was one with an ultimate as well, so take that one off the board. I was hoping to see something with that spectacular span to at least cause some damage, but 5 seconds left here in this one. Should be an easy closeout as they're going to make one final desperate attempt to try to get on point. It only works temporarily as you saw him get locked down there too, swinging around, using some of that time for overtime, but it's inevitable that they're going to chase him off point here.
Respect to Jeff only. Respecting the Hill Directive. That is the first ever 0.00 capture I have seen in a competitive setting. like that. Jeff only highly respectful of the Hill Directive, saying, we're not going to pull any punches. You're getting the full treatment.
Yeah, exactly. Let them come to you because you're that confident. And then when they try to be cheeky, when you saw that portal open up earlier, that's when you want to actually, flex your muscles a little bit and get a little bit more aggressive and kind of make a statement piece and say, hey, those tricks might work where you're currently, playing. But for us, we're ready for it. We're established and we're exactly where we need to be positionally in order to make the biggest impact possible. So now just one tick. One little notch here, Orbital, is all it'll take for Jeff to move on to the finals.
Look at those numbers. Backpack, of course, swapping over to that Black Widow. Haven't seen that one yet, but at 18-1, you can afford to play a little bit silly. And also with the empowerment, right? We've seen Black Widow actually have some amazing moments with the Mantis if you're able to be empowered, if you're able to get those extra shots down. Bijan even joining on in now, a swap up. That Airman moving over to the Jeff, so swapping up the roles as well.
I like that move. I like that for sure. And Jeff only is just not being complacent. They are wondering and anticipating what will come out here, and they know damage is going to be the key. That's why you see the Black Widow added to it, like you mentioned. Of course, on the other side here, you're bringing in Adam Warlock too for Rumor, and I do like that. You're going to need res, especially when you can't allow any kind of ticks here on this point. But I'll leave it over to you, Orbital, as this might be a quick one if they can get the first initial kills.
Of course, the initial kills aren't really there. You go ahead and give time to Backpack to see if they can swap on in, but there is going to be that portal into the mix, and you leave. I love this. You leave Cyber Pilot to sit in the middle, and everyone else shoots through the portal. How much damage can you actually get down here? Site number one, Bijan takes out Watch Show. Penny Parker is gone. Blind Savior about to be the same. That's a swap to their head. Of course, Blind Savior is able to find one, but the members are falling a little bit too quickly. Watch Show able to respawn, get ready for the battle itself. Hill Director are taken blow for blow, but of course, V-Hill is ready, as that's already a third, and it's done. You called it, Bearlight. As fast as a sonic boom, Jeff only take this game and take this series.
And I did say I like that Adam Warlock lock in on the other side, but the problem is if it's going to happen that quickly, you're not going to be able to get to ultimate anyways. Jeff only was that efficient. They were that strong in this one, proving why they're the #1 seed and walking into the finals here at this point, sprinting into the finals. Let's be honest. They were just absolutely incredible from the get-go. I can't even point out one specific player that did a great job because everybody was firing on all cylinders. And can't say enough about this team, how prepared they are coming in and how they're ready to take this title if they can. They want those action figures just like I did, Orbital. It shows.
I mean, listen, I want them just as well, but I'm here in the booth, so I can't really worry about that one. For the Hill Directive, though, very valiant attempt. I think anyone stepping up to the plate, you knew you were 4th seed. There was a chance of running in to a Jeff only, and you knew you were in for a tough spot. You still brought your best fight. I think we saw a lot of the attempts going in there of those offenses, of trying to get into the mix, trying to fight your way forward. It just didn't work out. I think this is one of those points where you have to sit back and take a look and say, we didn't necessarily do a single option wrong multiple times, right? We didn't make 500 mistakes. We made one mistake, and that allowed Jeff only to take over as, I mean, you take a look at this. It was just very, very impressive from the side of Jeff only.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the combined, what was it, 27, 0, and 7 on that last map from Cyber Pilot and Sir Slays You alone. So those two combined didn't die at all, and the rest of the team only had a collective 6 deaths. It was just so hard to be able to kill a team with this much sustainability. Sir Slays You on the Penny Parker earlier. The rest followed suit. That was on map 1. We continued on and just saw the same patterns kind of form themselves. But you're right. I feel like Hill Directive was able to adjust, but every adjustment they made had an answer at the end of the day.
I always like to say, when it comes down to the high-level teams, it's almost a chess match at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
When you take a look at how well they adjust, when they make a move, when they see an offensive being built, they immediately adjust their strategy, and it takes over. So, Hill Directive, they tried their best. Jeff only, though, how many strategies do you have? That's what I want to know. Every single twist, I think they played a unique comp almost every single round on their offense, on their defense. They have so many different strategies in their bucket that it terrifies me at the end of the day. Take a look at this, of course, on game 2 as well. A singular 3v3, make it a 3v4, and Jeff only still win.
I mean, it felt like their vanguards were in the face, just like throwing a screen, and you didn't even realize the Psylocke's there because you're dealing with it. And, you know, they had the chance to be able to ban out the Captain America, but they had other priorities that they were focused on first. And yet, that was such a problem for them because you're distracted. You're not seeing all that damage coming at you. And at the end of the day, it came to bite you. And Jeff only, it's Jeff. It's going to the finals.
That's the only one that we are worried about. But at the end of the day, it's of course going to be a chance for a Cinderella run. Bearlight, keep in mind, we are not done with the day. Not only do we have to crown the winner of this Summer League playoffs of the DAFGL, we have a chance at a Cinderella story. That was the 4th seed moving in. Now, Jeff only look across the board and say, we got one more to go, and it is Sky Raiders. They are raiding the sky so far with their 6th seed toppling the 3rd seed Natural Ones, toppling the 2nd seed Boneyardigans, and now have a chance to topple the 1st seed. Jeff only. Bearlight, we are in for a treat in more ways than one, so let's make sure the teams are ready to go. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, Grand Finals BO5 ahead of us. Don't go anywhere. The DAFGL Summer Playoff Grand Finals is now ahead of us here for the Marvel Rivals Tournament, day number 1 of this playoffs weekend. Jeff only. Those are the only 2 words you need. Jeff only. That's about it. They are coming in as ridiculously strong opponents right now.
They are just, they put on a statement piece, number 1, but then like to see them live in action actually here on this broadcast versus just kind of looking and crunching the numbers, if you will, in the back end was a whole different story. It spoke just the amount of togetherness that this team was able to bring. It just everything clicked and everybody was there in support. You could tell that they've run this comp multiple times, whether it be like through rank to practice this or what have you. Obviously very individually talented, but to bring in that team aspect makes anybody who's trying to go up against this team extremely hard. So as you see, they advance to the finals.
Now, of course, on the other side of the bracket, though, there's a whole other story to be had. Sky Raiders we haven't been able to see so far today, but we are going to see them now, and they have had a tear of their own. Natural Ones and Boneyardigans have both fallen to the Sky Raiders, and honestly, when we're taking a look at Sky Raiders, there's a reason why they're doing so well. It feels like they got some very competent players on their side as well.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. They can flex as well in addition to it. So we saw that from the Hill Directive too to try to switch things up. But going up against this team is certainly one where you have to have that bit of flexibility to change strategies when things aren't going right. So I like this team to be able to kind of put up that fight. They've got Captain America of their own to some degree. They say codename Delta, which we'll get to know here in just a little bit, is part of that and one of the big reasons why they've been so good.
Yeah, and of course, you know they're fighting for an awesome piece of that prize pool. First place,
oh, yeah, baby.
$100 action figure, the trophy at the end of the day, a flag for their own, and then $200. Second place, of course, whoever gets the runner-up will get $125 AFG gift card, and then the DAFGL flag, as well as the Latisse. And, of course, for those that have played so far, it might be playing in the lower 3rd and 4th place match. They'll have a chance at the prize, and then the 5th through 8th, those who showed up here in the quarterfinals will get a piece for their own. With that being said, though, you saw all that before, so let's go ahead and introduce the teams themselves. You already know Jeff only being a treat to the eyes. My big question, though, is Sky Raiders.
Yeah, 100%. We talked about them a little bit already, but they're representing the Moody Air Force Base in southern Georgia. Shout out to the crew out there. Home to the 23rd Wing, the 598th Range Squadron, and many other tenant units. And Moody Air Force Base aims at being a lethal, agile, resilient team ready to deliver combat air power anywhere, anytime. And listen, Orbital, they're going to do the same here with this lineup too.
Yep, it's going to be a treat. Now, I do believe there are some roster changes in there, and we'll see exactly how far that goes. I know they had a couple substitutes listed, I believe. The main roster was there, of course, but they had 2 rosters on the back end, so we'll see who's actually playing right now. You saw Filthy Mutant, you saw Codename Delta, you saw Kadara, and then as well as Peppa, Dong, Main, and then Nonstop. You got Kodak and Wilter, I think, on the sub-roster, so we'll see exactly who's playing in and who's ready to step on up. At the end of the day, though, we're excited to see what map it is to start this BO5, and you know it's a good old convoy sitting in here as the pathway is now open.
Yggdrasil we go. Live to the gods of thunder and mischief to have their way here on the convoy side. It's one that we haven't gotten yet, so I'm excited to see this convoy kick off and see if that same momentum exists here for Jeff only. They looked incredibly sharp on no matter what map you threw at them, but to find something new is refreshing for us as well, so I'm excited about that as well.
And I like this already. Starting things off, Sky Raiders saying, look, we haven't really seen the Johnny Flame coming out here, but we do need to deal with that one. So take away the fire in the skies. Emma Frost already burned away. Jeff only making sure that tank isn't going to be utilized. And now you step into a little bit of a weird path, because keep in mind, Jeff only ran the show in the opening convergence that they played. So in the convoy, I'll be a little bit curious exactly how it works. That was a Luna save, by the way. Sky Raiders saying they went ahead and saved the Luna for their own, which Jeff only means that they might save something as well.
Yeah, 100%. And if I was, Sky Raiders watching that semifinals match, that's what I'd be doing. And I'd be kind of showcasing, okay, who was really strong here and how do we take that one away? You see them save the Loki there on their end for Jeff only. They're also going to ban the Luna, it says, as well. So we're waiting for the next one to lock into. I do like that keep, though, from the Loki side of things. It allows you to lay out so much damage, work that team up like we saw earlier in this broadcast.
we are going to go ahead and also double check this. So we'll get confirmation either way. We are seeing that ban out of the Bruce, and just that makes sense. You don't want to deal with a Hulk at all. Hulk is one of the more destructive pieces of the puzzle, so I like that ban away. But this next save coming in will be very, very important. Sky Raiders making sure to save that Cloak and Dagger, and it will be a treat at the end of the day for that one. Final save for Jeff only, though. You know what? You love it. Possibly coming out here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they saw Jeff only a little bit timid on the Cloak and Dagger side. They saw a ban of that earlier last time, so that's probably going to play into that too. So I do like that. I do like that pick, that save here from Sky Raiders. So now it's up to Jeff only to look to lock one in. So we'll keep an eye and see what that is. They're going to say Blade and Thing in the chat here, so we'll see which ones are locked in from production here on that side of things as well.
There are... I feel that was a very gentlemanly respect thing. So from my understanding, I think both sides have kind of understood that, hey, we missed a save in there, so no worries about that one.
Yep.
See exactly what gets thrown down, though, as both ban out a duelist at the end of the day. That was a Black Panther and then a Psy on the other side. So, you know, taking away those backline divers, which I really do respect.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Black Panther being one of the ones that we saw tear up, but the Psylocke rather was just the dance of the butterfly was deadly. That distraction into that just lays out so much damage over time. You can say the same with the Black Panther, so that won't be run. So that's good news if you're coming in as Sky Raiders and you just saw what Jeff only was able to do to the number 4 seed, and you come in as the number 6 seed. You've gotten this far already. Obviously, you want to take that step forward, but it's going to take a little bit more than just your best here. You're going to have to give 110% against a team that's been pretty killer. And you see Kodak is going to be out here. So the sub coming in, of course, like you mentioned, might be a possibility. Actually rocking from Tinker Air Force Base as well. Shout out to them on that side, obviously representing the Moody Air Force Base in this instance for this team.
Of course, we get a treat on the other side. We got the Rocket Raccoon coming in here, Peperias joining us, but we got an Iron Fist of all things an Iron Fist, which again is a little bit interesting to me. We'll see how well it plays out here as Sky Raiders are on the defense. First, Jeff only coming out on the attack. There's an immediate meeting of the minds, though, as I won't throw immediately spotted out, and unfortunately you are getting chased backpack, forcing the Iron Fist back, but of course nonstop takes kill number 1. Really good start as that airman is denied, but the push is just starting up.
Even the detail as getting rid of the nest as far back as you can and forcing that cooldown to begin on the other side makes it difficult for them to get anything going. Nonstop definitely built that too. A shout out to Will Throw, who's going by Won't Throw, and so hoping maybe that's positive energy that this team might need going against Jeff only.
See if it works out. So far, the slow push is there. One of the big things about Convoy is it's all about building up that ultimate charge and then unleashing as you get time. That's going to dive into the back line, though, as that's kill number 1. V-Hill is down. Jeff only is losing. One of the front line. B-Gem falls as well, but Backpack is still alive as he's trying to pump out the damage. Vet Airman now swapping over to the Storm, which is a little bit surprising here. A little bit of a late swap, but you get the rest of the team there. Halfway through with the push, Jeff only slow but steady.
You talked about comfort picks, and that's likely one of the reasons why we're seeing that already. The Phoenix on the Jeff only is one that we haven't seen quite yet, but they're able to at least manage a little bit of work on that side. Pirdar is trying to hold them off as well, as they've still got some time before the Galactic Legend is going to be released, so they're going to have to play a little bit more timidly, fall back before anything else develops.
We say fall back, but Backpack says fall forward and fall hard. That is what we do here on the pathway to success. Mutant, though, trying to keep everyone alive and damaged, but in comes the massive storm as the Magnet Meteor smashes into V-Hill's face. A solo bolo ult puts Sky Raiders in a comfortable position to stop the advancement. Of course, the storm calls for blood as Jeff only say we have the last laugh, and Sky Raiders lose way too many to continue to deny.
They're feasting Orbital, and all this is attention to detail. Being able to take out that nest gives you a little bit more punch at the end of the day, gives you a little bit more ult charge, and you saw them being utilized back to back to back, and it all began of course, the Omega Hurricane was part of this equation here, but the rest kind of followed suit. Sort of slays you with the Meteor X. Who says that's a spacing tool, man? You can use that to just maybe get in their face and throw down a DPS if you need to.
I mean, it's so good. And now we're taking a look at another piece of the puzzle here. Sky Raiders just trying to get some extra damage. Kadara saying, okay, I have the ult ready to go on the Star-Lord, which can be all-encompassing and all-powerful, but you need a front line. And Sky Raiders lost a few more, which in my opinion is a little bit rough because Jeff only now gets to play a little bit harder. They got those charges on the ultimates up a little bit faster. Guess what? Slay ready to go with theirs. BJ ready with theirs. Cyber ready as well.
A couple clones on this point as it moves forward, and you can't really deal with those when you're having to look left, right, again, just trying to locate everybody on the side. Phoenix, you know, kind of swinging around corners. You got the cloak and dagger that's been a little bit difficult to track down too, and of course Storm goes without saying. So they will go up high. IL Vagamoto should be able to throw them in, beast them up in Orbital. They just go to work.
So clean with one though. Kadara gonna try and do their best, but it's only one KO. One KO is all they might need as Nonstop is on the thing, but the thing is stopped in his tracks as backpack burns through the rock like they're just molten lava. So slays on you. Does the exact same as the meteor strikes true. Kodak with the Eye of Agamotto, but no real damage behind as this is just a free push from Jeff only. Kodak though, with an eye of their own, tries to turn it around, but Backpack was right out of that range of opportunity. V-Hill throwing down the snoozers as Jeff only running the show. A tornado to burn through once again. That's Won't Throw trying their best as they almost point blank annihilate two more. The back and forth Lee Sky Raiders defending well and strong.
Orbital, that was a very expensive exchange here for Sky Raiders, but at least it pays off because finally you can see that clock ticking down without any more advancement going on. Jeff only did a great job to just march that point all the way to where you see it on your screen right now, but at the same time, Sky Raiders used a lot of ultimates to do it. They'll still have clobbering time in this next one, and Jeff only actually low on their ults as well.
Well, the clobbering time might be there, but it was used a little bit too early because Jeff only portal right on through. Cyber Pilot with the absolute bamboozling of a lifetime. Sky Raiders are pushed out of Sky, slammed down to reality, and the ground is swept from underneath their feet. Jeff only go. You got one run, but we got the war.
It's so difficult. This second point is to be able to kind of manage through, especially if you get trapped in that choke point where that door on one side or the other, the only way that you can get through. So they're going to have to surrender this point. It's an obvious one. They will get that second one. They'll march towards the third one too, try to take out them up top. Was able to track down Nonstop as they were up high, but wasn't able to get the rest. And Orbital just constantly just ripping through it like butter.
I mean, Cyber Pilot is playing that Phoenix, which is the, in my opinion, most OP style. I mean, you got telekinesis, you got firepower, you got everything in the bank. You for sure are going to be able to control a few Sky Raiders. No big deal there. Cyber Pilot now right in front of Spawn saying, this is your last spawn point. We've done this before. We're going to try and do it again. Once again, slamming into three. And that's V-Hill, Cyber Pilot, and Vet Airman to take full advantage. Revive coming in from Peppa, but there ain't nothing more to play with. Jeff only domination across the map, across the pathway, and across Sky Raiders' bases.
And with the stagger as well, so they're not going to be able to get on point any quicker than usual here. They won't get on the cart, and so it'll be very difficult too. Omega Hurricane still in pocket as well, hasn't even been used yet, and now they will in order to chase it back even further. And Zaloki's going to crack it a little bit as you see the In-Song follow through too. They'll go back to back to back just to clean up all the rest of the space, and they will go the distance with 1:42 left on the clock.
0, 2, 3. Time to switch things up.
0 to 3, the call from the announcer, and that could never be more prevalent. You said 1 minute and 42 seconds left on the clock, which is destructive in more ways than one. Keep in mind, Jeff only well-deserved powerhouse right now, and that's why we're seeing Sky Raiders swap to what I can only assume is an extremely and highly offensive composition here. They are looking at a 1, 2, and 3, which to me is much more aggressive leaning than anything else. You're sending only one tank, you're making sure that your DPS get everything in the value, you're going for massive on-hit value. Sky Raiders hard shaking up their strategy.
And I think you saw a little bit of the panic Jeff only caused within this team. You saw constant switching during that last exchange, and then also you'll see it a little bit here in the lobby as they look to try to maybe communicate here. I imagine the comms are a little bit more calm now that the round's over, but I saw constant switches from Filthy trying to kind of rotate through. Do I want a Mantis? Do I want a Cloak and Dagger? You know, maybe even switch it up and maybe add another strategist, and maybe that would be the ticket here, but they're obviously not showing that quite yet, as they'll be the next one to look to be on this attack side, so they won't have much opportunity to switch here. You'll see them lock in as is.
Jeff only for their own, saying no harm, no foul, no changes. Let's see how well we can defend. Kadara, though, playing one of my favorites, Punisher, one of the best in my opinion in just consistent DPS. You're able to stay alive. Won't throw, as you said, will throw for content, but maybe not for the championship. Let's see if they can hang on for their own. Quick little push here as Jeff only just giving their time, recognizing that it's a 1-2-3 setup. Maybe not the most aggressive just yet. They know they can farm this for ult timer, and maybe they can do some work there as well. Backline being looked at, nothing crazy just yet.
Yeah, they haven't been able to kind of really tear into it. Imagine, you know, maybe they need to be able to work around the heals that they're getting on this side, but they are starting to make some progress. This team up is really helping out. You see the heals, extra heals on that extra wall that you get from Groot with the Groot and Mantis combined, but 2 down here for Sky Raiders.
But of course, the answer right back is Sky Raiders get eliminated. Vet Airman came in with a swath of damage. Let's get that Storm doing so much work.
Yeah, it has been. I mean, this has been just their ticket, is being able to find high ground and utilize it here on this one. And again, constant damage coming out. Never rest attitude has been great. They never seem to take a moment off, and it shows. Jeff Only has been able to walk this one back to a great spot here as well in the corner, where it's up to Sky Raiders to force their hand instead.
I like this backpack already, knowing that you're going to get ult soon. Make sure to step in the right spot, backing up with the rest of the team. Won't throw, has the opportunity. If you can find a time to reset, this would be it. But in comes that Phoenix. Rebirth available as you can find that mark, but you got to swing, you got to maneuver. That's going to be turn number 1. Jump forward straight into Kadara's face. The Punisher is punished in more ways than one, and losing that DPS forces Filthy Beat to try and pop that ultimate as much as possible, laying down that blanket, cloak, and dagger. But it's only 2 delayed. Now that's going to allow Bijan to open up in their own, and it's a much more offensive ult, forcing the rest of Jeff Only to jump on in. Eye of Agamotto not ready to be expended yet as Vet Airman goes on a tear. The damage is unreal. In comes that massive tornado. Bring the pain behind. Magnet. Storm ahead. Sky Raiders forced to their own starting line and not allowed out. Kodak finally finds an answer as Cyberpilot goes down, but it's only 1 considering you lost so much time. Sky Raiders now have to start back at basically stage 1.
Yeah, they'll have a spawn advantage, and that's basically the only bright end of this here as, you know, you see Vet finally fall. But that, again, the amount of time they're able to just kind of stall because Bijan ran in and began that all with the Eternal Bond was massive. And now you see them all grouped up here as well. We'll see if they can take advantage of it.
Right now, a quick slam in, won't throw, trying to get a reset, gets reset number 1. V-Heal and backpack, though, immediately answer back is the ultimate call down. Another chance as won't throw is blinded out, and you're going to try and say same. Eye of Agamotto freezes everyone in place, and backpack takes full advantage. Damage number 1, Kadara non-stop able to answer back, but the damage hasn't done. You're down to 1 more minute. You need a convincing fight, not a haymaker battle.
They've got a Mantis here to at least keep them sustained, but Kiradara, even regardless of that team up, is not really causing any more damage than they want to, and Cyberpilot is very happy to be able to jump up in their spot with heals behind them and the ability to keep that shield up and pop that ever so slightly when you need it. This has been timed extremely well. Jeff Only putting on a clinic here, ticking that time down to 30 seconds.
With that being said, it's all down to 0 ultimates. Filthy Mutant, the only one with theirs in relative distance. I mean, look at Kadara. Kadara's the next one at 70%, which means Jeff Only, they're going to bait. They're going to wait. They're going to hold for so dang long, and Sky Raiders are looking like they're locked out of this game. Number 1, Vet Airman going to the skies. Tornado in the backline. Peppa is gone. Annihilation of your strategist means the war falls apart. A massive eye. Stuns out 3, and Sky Raiders can do nothing. Jeff Only once again saying we are the first seed for a very good reason. Meteor straight to the backside as that is map 1 to Jeff Only.
And oh man, and you saw that they have confidence in one another, Orbital, and it shows because kicking that off with an Omega Hurricane where you're like, did I get enough value of it just using it on one individual? You did on the Mantis. the strategist down, you already have 2 other ultimates coming up behind you. The eye was absolutely enormous in that moment. You knew it was coming. That's communication, coordination at its best, and why they do showcase themselves as the #1 seed here as well.
You can even see it in the kill count, double digits for everyone. Not only that, plus 20 across the board at least. Sir Slays on you, the only one at 21. Everyone else 25 and above. Crazy work at the end of the day, and specifically from Backpack, 35, 2, and 5.
It started early, Orbital. I mean, we talked about the Eternal Bond being a huge part of this. This is when they chased them out the back door. The meteor that landed early was absolutely incredible there. You love to see that as a spark there. Sky Raiders definitely looked like they were in it for a moment on the defense. They held pretty strong, but when we talk about when Jeff only got towards the defensive side, they absolutely just dotted their I's, crossed their T's, and they were ready for everything. That eye was just key in multiple moments.
Cyber Pilot making sure to get into the thick of things every time with the stock of training. We're talking about the fact that Cyber Pilot played immaculate Captain America previously, and this time around being given the freedom to basically call the shots. One of the big things that you love with anything like a Vanguard like that, they have to know when to make the opportunity for themselves and give the rest of the team the slot as well. I think that's what Cyber Pilot did so well at the end of the day, calling down those fights, making sure that it was all in their favor. Now, going into map number 2, big questions abound, right? Remember, both teams actually forgot to save a hero. Both of them kind of gave friendly, agreement across the board there. So if we're looking at hero saves or maybe a ban at the end of the day, what do we see Sky Raiders look at?
Man, that's really tough to kind of dish out of because there's just attacks from multiple areas. I think at the end of the day, I'm focused on, man, oh man, I don't even know where to begin. It was deadly from the get-go. I know for a fact when we talk about how Storm was managing just so much damage in those moments, that was certainly a point of emphasis for them. The Eye of Agamotto was just so deadly as well, and it makes me spark that, but then you kind of lose it out on your own, so it's tough to say which direction. I would say Storm just to kind of make sure that damage does not get out. But even still, I mean, there's just damage from so many different areas. It's tough to say.
I think the other side of it is the fact that the save would have actually gone over to Sky Raiders on the Luna Snow. And I'm very curious if the Luna Snow would have actually made a difference. We saw a little bit in that in the chat saying, hey, we were going to try a Luna Snow, but because it wasn't able to be timed out, hey, sorry, you snooze, you lose, which makes sense, you know? But at the end of the day, my question comes about is, if that Luna Snow was in place, do you think that would have made a difference in game number 1? And moving into game number 2, would that Luna Snow make a difference considering how Sky Raiders were able to play on the map?
If you're able to land your shots, and I think there was moments where they were able to do so, but it depends on who's, got them in their hands. Luna has a new team up as well, where you have to be dead accuracy, on your points, on your marks, and I think I've seen enough to say that it would be a little bit more effective for this team to give them just a little bit more oomph, especially if it's on a convoy map like we just saw, or Convergence. That's where you get a majority of that value because you're just able to kind of stay behind the group and be able to not only heal, but then lay out damage in multiple fashions and be able to support your flankers as well on those heals. So I do think there is a lot of value that you get from the Luna that you lost out on. So if they're able to save a Luna here on this time around, I think it's really going to work favors for them. We'll see where we go, and it looks like Royal Palace here, Orbital.
Wow, I'm actually really surprised that we rolled a domination, considering that we could have had, a convergence or anything like that. Another domination actually really scares me, because I think Jeff Only are so good at playing that consistent back and forth offense defense, right? They know how to swap immediately from defense. We've seen them also spark a little bit of anger with that immediate portal in front of their face, drawing a duelist to their side, immediately taking that stagger kill. It's brutal, and there it is, as we were saying. Sky Raiders immediately saying, okay, deal with BGen's Loki, but we need that Luna Snow in our pocket.
Yeah, 100%. And I like how they were like, we didn't even see Loki and we got 3-0'd, but we still don't want anything to do with that earlier. It was an immediate ban every single time since the first map that they played. I don't blame them either. I mean, that was just absolutely dirty here at this point in time. But the Eye of Agamotto is going to be back as well, Orbital.
Yeah, it is, and honestly, I like that save, especially in a tight corridor like this one. It makes sense on this domination map. You really just want to hang on to it as much as possible, and I mean, that's a game changer, right? It's the same up there with the Jeff, but of course, the Jeff at the end of the day hasn't actually been played here just too much. I believe they were a little bit more focused on getting that map #1, so we'll see if it changes out here. Phoenix is gone, though. I love that call. Backpack won't be able to use that one, but the Magneto save now brings about a very nice stall to immediate execution for Sky Raiders if they can pull it off.
Yeah, I think Kodak, coming in as a sub of sorts, from Tinker Air Force Base, played extremely well with the Magneto. So let's go ahead and save that, put him back on it, put him in a place where he can be successful, where you certainly need it. But the Storm is going to be saved here. We talked about it here, as that might have been a ban. They prioritized Phoenix, which in my eyes, it could have gone either way. So I like the fact that they do that. Rocket Raccoon will not be doing work for the Sky Raiders team. I know there's a couple of res opportunities there last time around that might have been helpful. So they want to say, hey, we want nothing to do with this.
And I appreciate that one. Psylocke at the very end, heavy on the DPS focus for Sky Raiders. And in that flip section, we got to take a look at this domination. We are still on Yugisgard, by the way. This is a continuation of the lore and making sure it's going to be a tree all in of itself. And remember, this is a BO5. Sky Raiders have one more safety net. They're allowed to lose one more game before it is going to be that we got to put our foot on the line. And I wonder what kind of composition they're going to be rounding out for us.
Yeah, it's obviously going to be extremely, strategist heavy. I know they have a lot of players that can step up to the plate in those regards too. They have a Captain America that they could bring out as well. We haven't seen it yet, but Codename Delta is typically the one running that. So I'm not sure if that would actually be helpful for them, seeing as they have not been here. So we're not going to see that. Instead, we're going to see Venom and the Thing. Another very annoying composition here for Sky Raiders, trying to get in their heads maybe, as the Thing can just certainly eat a lot of damage, but they can also deal with flyers as well. As you see, the Storm was saved, so I imagine that's why they're going with this comp early.
Yeah, you go ahead and try and break your way on through, but for Jeff only, a little bit of surprise here as we get the swap back. Okay, I was curious about that one. Saw some changes in there, and I love the fact that you pointed out the Thing, but for Jeff only, I don't think it's going to be that much of a surprise, right? Like, this is going to be a little bit brutal. Right now, we are getting that portal. We'll see where Kodak decides to place it. Jeff only just running straight forward. There's a portal straight on in. They land on top of the point, and immediate nothingness. It is pure quiet. They're making sure to keep eyes, and I love this answer. It's Cyber Pilot's turn to play. Yes. And listen, It's one at a time. You go ahead, say surprise. We're here, Shoddy. Sky Raiders saying up. No, we're ready for you. Double portal action. Gonna get a little bit serious. Kadar was ready, but Jeff only answered right back. V-Hill, though, immediately taken out here. Sky Raiders, they say we surprise you at the end of the day. It's blood on both sides' hands, but Sky Raiders first to take 4 to 5, and they will be the ones to turn the point first.
That was impressive from Sky Raiders. I loved seeing that because Jeff only threw them through a loop. Just that extra little bit is like throwing a changeup instead of your usual fastball to get on a point with that Strange. So they took a little bit of extra time. They saw what was on points. He was able to see it through his portal, so he continued to just let them sit. And yet still Sky Raiders had an answer for it, and it was all off the back of, again, riding that momentum from Kodak. That was a huge part of it. Won't throw as well.
Sky Raiders, this is a great start, but Jeff only made sure that they answer right back. Quick break of the environment, make sure to cut off any backline access, but of course, it's going to be Cyber saying, I'm taking a page out of your book, we're going to slam our way to a victory, and that breaks open plenty of space. I love this call. Not only that, it allows Backpack. We're watching off on the kill feed. Sky Raiders losing members left, right, and center, and there's a turn, 38%. Nice push by Sky Raiders. Not going to be enough, though. Jeff only making sure to start bottlenecking the Sky Raiders.
Kodak keeping the Strange. They already have their portal back. That seemed really quick. No, they have their, instead they're throwing up the shield, trying to keep the rest of their team at check and keeping them on the other side at bay, but Jeff only is not really falling for it. Plus, they have a whole lot of heals on their side, so trying to dive through this has been extremely difficult already. Clobbering timeout for them, and clobbering is certainly the adjective that I would use.
Yep, I mean, Backpack cosplaying the Thing at that point with the clobbering reset. Sky Raiders can do nothing. And with that, Jeff only in one fell swoop goes ahead and overtakes in the point command.
Yeah, just, I mean, clinical. We've talked about it before, Orbital, and we continue to see the same thing. The space occupied on this map is very, very dangerous, especially if you're not able to find alternate routes around this side and just continuously work. We saw this in the first series. We're seeing it again. Just prime example of this here, Orbital.
Right Right now, though, Sir slays on you, trying to throw down and hits a massive Magna on Filthy. And with that singular, it's Pepper trying to do their best to sing a song of glory, keep everyone alive. But it's matched by VGen. VGen matches it. VHill goes down, though. And Jeff only says no song anymore, gets stunned up. It's clobbering time. Unfortunately, I don't know how much extra damage they have. Backpack trying to get resets, and there's going to be the resets of ages. A stun on the back end, but Sky Raiders say songs on songs are gone, and it's all about the cold, brutal reality. Backpack does work yet again to push Sky Raiders away and push themselves up to 95%.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to get back onto this one. They might be able to challenge temporarily, but it should be as good as done here. They have an opportunity to challenge here with the Black Panther on, but it has been Jeff only who's just been able to kind of work it. You know, they were able to sacrifice the Magneto, who stayed alive for such a long period of time, be able to shield themselves and stay on the point, and then they were the one to drop. Meanwhile, a strategist and the duelist on the other side for Sky Raiders were the ones to drop, so Jeff only would take that every single day, but finally he showed a little bit of life. The overtime bar is extremely low, but Sky Raiders, can they get back on? No, it's not going to happen.
See, here's the deal. Backpack left that fight for like half a second. That's why Sky Raiders are still there. As soon as Backpack came back, he's like, no, it's over. Sorry, guys. I really want this round one. Bifrost Garden completed. We're now moving over to Odin's Archive. And once again, Backpack looking like a beast. I would be terrified to know how many kills they currently have, because it has to be a massive amount.
And you know, the Kraken impact hasn't had as much impact as it usually does, because they're already gone by the time you go up and use it and have the opportunity to. Usually that's where you get extreme value from that Winter Soldier, and yet Backpack has certainly got to be up there. Backpack has been just laying down that damage, but all courtesy of the back end holding it down. I mean, we can't talk about Bijan enough. VHill hasn't gotten any love from us, but they've stayed alive more than anybody else. That survivability that you have and you can trust on with this Cloak and Dagger, especially here at Odin's Archive, is going to be extremely valuable, I can tell you that.
Well, the thing that's going to be really valuable is whether the swap of the DPS is going to be it. Duelists are coming in non-stop on the Scarlet Witch and won't throw on the Blade. It's a Hail Mary and a half right now for the Sky Raiders. They see those jet streams are kind of getting a little bit locked down here, so gotta find other opportunities to make waves in the sky. See if they can do so here, though, as Jeff only starts things off so strong. Filthy Mutant and Kodak drop like flies. So does Peppa. Where did Sky Raiders go?
Their back line disappeared immediately, and a large portion of that is the thing getting in your face and not allowing you, literally standing in between heals and everybody that you need to heal. Your Vanguard's duelists, they were not to be found, and though you're just able to kind of turn the corner, target the Luna, they fall. Filthy wasn't able to get anything going because they've been chased off it as well, just being absolutely pummeled by Cyber Pilot and the gang. Jeff only was able to tear through them again.
That is painful work non-stop, though. Answering back, and Cyber Pilot goes down. VHill makes sure to throw out a little bit of that Cloak and Dagger area. And, of course, the Hurricane rips on through, but Pepper was able to lay down that song, and Dan Sky slays on you, though. Says, no, we're done with the song. We're done with the dance. We're ready for a little death. Heavy Metal brings the pain as non-stop. Gets a massive ult off against one, but Black Panther is not in this one so far because right now Won't Throw is having some issues. The resets on Backpack is so dang strong as Jeff only yet again denies Sky Raiders.
What was I talking about, Orbital? I talked about the Kraken impact making one. They still have it in the back pocket, but they're not going to be able to use it that time. But they already got 4 or 5 of those off before they could do anything. And Sky Raiders, they used 2 ultimates in that exchange. It was very expensive, and they still didn't get any value out of it.
Right now, this is going to be the answer back. Sky Raiders trying portal in, but the portal can only do so much as this time it's Jeff only to deny the portal tech. Fast play by Sky Raiders gets literally 0.
Yeah, nothing doing here. It's just, you got to buy it. You're trying to buy a Val, you know, and it's like, and then nothing is taking place. Even the changes that we're seeing won't do much. And to have Blade here certainly makes sense from trying to get out of this hold that you're about to see from Jeff only. So we'll see if they can't break through with it, but so far it has not been great. They will have the ultimate though, so the 1,000-volt blade. We'll see when that comes out. Right now, Clobber in time is going to try to open up that avenue for them, but Jeff only answers it's Vet Airman to get 3.
Not just 3, but more than enough. The round and game. Jeff only wins as they are now 2-0 in this grand finals.
Not a single map dropped here, Orbital. They have been perfect in every sense of the word. I don't think I've seen any real chinks in the armor quite yet. They play extremely responsible, but at the same time, they'll be aggressive and in your face. And when that's a combo that you're going up against, it can be extremely frustrating. There's nothing that you can do. You can't even, with the space taken up in the lobbies, just in front of spawn points, there's no way to get around this. Even if you wanted to take an alternate route, you can't, because they're right up and close and personal. Be able to lay out that damage, almost a couple of 30 bombs there, as you see iBackpack, even just in those 2 rounds, goes 32 and 16, which is insane. You had the 29 assists there on the V-Hill side of things too, which is a huge number considering how many kills there were, which was a little bit limited because of the 2 maps. It was just everybody working together extremely well.
These resets is just going to be a backpack highlight, I think. Like, this is just going to be a backpack highlight reel. End moment. I mean, backpack was so good, but it's only because of the space created by the rest of Jeff only. They did so well. Cyber pilots swapping around with some of those vanguards and allowing the likes of backpack to get so much freedom in the annihilation factor.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, I was going to say names fitting, but everybody else really did play their part. But as far as the damage goes, it was all iBackpack, you know, laying out a ton of it. And it allowed them to kind of play a composition that surrounded a lot of health as well. You saw Cyber Pilot earlier in this one as well. You know, throw down some clobbering times on the thing, but then you also had the Magneto next to it. That's just so much health in a world where you're really, as a Vanguard, not really loving life. It gets difficult sometimes. But when you have all this health around and some strategists that you can rely on, it's a lot better, and you could tell that Jeff only was all for it.
Yep, well, right now, that is going to be the tale of 2 games, but this is a BO5, which means there's a few moments of rest ready for the battle ahead. Honestly, I'm very, very excited because Jeff only are looking so dang strong, but we'll see if Sky Raiders are able to take a little bit more for themselves. It is going to be a very, very short break. They're going to catch their breath, maybe come back with a renewed sense of urgency and maybe a new strategy to boot, but we'll go ahead, give ourselves a break, give the teams a rest, and be back with more Marvel Rivals here with the DAFGL Summer Playoffs Day number 1. Don't go anywhere. Battle maps are drawn, the strategy books have to be put down, and you better be ready to get your hands dirty. Sky Raiders are 0-2 right now in the grand finals of this BO5 Jeff only, about to go undefeated on the day from their semifinals to grand finals run. If they win here, that's a grand total of 5 for 5 games that they have won in dominating fashion. Sky Raiders, Bearlight, what do they need to do to come back in this series?
First and foremost, for Jeff only, just incredible work from them, and what a story it is. But yeah, if you're going up against a team like this, it can be extremely difficult. This is where your camaraderie has to come in. You have to be able to play for your team, and it's not just, just trying to play off of one another. It's more so being able to communicate, be able to at least be able to manage these one-on-one fights, and be able to call over support whether you need it. And I feel like that all starts with a little bit of survivability. There's a lot of times we were just talking about where a lot of those fights ended a little bit too early. So looking to prioritize that might help you a little bit, but you have to be able to use and get a lot of value off of your ultimates. We didn't see that a whole lot, so hopefully we see it at Spider Islands, which we'll be going to here for map number 3.
Yeah, our first repeat of the map type. We got Convoy second coming in here as the third map, and see how that changed things up. Now, you're talking about survivability. I will say one of the things that we did see that was an adjustment from map 1 to map 2 was that Luna Snow. Very well played by the Sky Raiders, making sure to save that one, and I'm not going to be surprised if they go ahead and save it once more. The ban out of the Storm, though, so I have a feeling Backpack might be heavy targeted here moving into this third game.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, we talked about Phoenix being banned out instead of the Storm. The Storm came back in and literally took it by storm. I don't blame that at all. Luna's can be saved here, though, so that's good news, too. Amber Frost was off the board first for Jeff only, so maybe they don't want to see that on the Sky Raider side, because that's twice now that they've done that throughout the entirety of the series.
Yeah, I believe it was actually on the flip end when we saw the semifinals. I believe it was actually Hill Directive that multi-banned out the Emma Frost. So again, agreed. Very, very interesting to see here. Once again, saving that Doctor Strange, though, making sure that they get a very, very good safety net in there. I like in the little chat, you can see it down in the bottom, VHill. You have any Blade players in there? As we have seen, I believe both teams have fun with that hero so far. Final ban here, or second ban, is gonna be that Loki. Jeff only saying Sky Raiders, you don't get that one.
Yeah, Loki has been off the board quite frequently, and we see it again. Usually it's against Jeff only that we see that being banned, but maybe they're like, oh, we don't want to see and mess with that either. Look, they said we don't want to decide whether Storm or Phoenix is off the board for Sky Raiders. They said, why not? Let's take out both, and I don't blame them there either. And Jeff only wants to actually keep the Strange, so we'll probably see another Strange battle because we know that both teams are capable of it. And now the save on the other side for Sky Raiders will be that Magneto.
Now, here's the deal. I mentioned earlier that that Backpack was kind of hard focus here. Do we see a triple ban at Backpack? Do we get to see the Winter Soldier banned away as well? Is that just like a hard lock on annoyances? That's what I'm curious about here. Double Vanguard save, though. For Jeff only, they want variety picks. They already have the Captain America open if they so wish. But, you know, never too much of a good thing there. Here it comes, though. You already said, hey, we know the duelists are being banned out. We don't have to go ahead and save any of our strategists. What's this last? Sky Raiders, do it. I swear, please. I've called it for the last, 30 seconds. Do it. You know what? I'll take the Psylocke. I'll take the Psylocke ban.
Yes.
Triple DPS ban against the likes of Backpack. The honor of honors.
Yeah, that's a good call, too. It's what we've seen from Jeff only, so I like that lock away, too. Of course, the Human Torch seems more like, hey, we're going to play our games. We know which... And it felt like all the bans for Jeff only was really not necessarily Sky Raiders' focus, but more so, what do we not want to see that maybe they had in their back pocket until just now? I like that. That means that they've set the pace, set the tone here, they're ready to go for the next map, and that, they have a strategy, they're sticking to it.
We'll also be starting off on the attack once again, and on attack here, this is one of the maps. If we look at Spider Island, it's one of the maps that actually really kind of put up that 3-3 meta style. It was a three Vanguard into 3 strategists that you could actually tank a lot of that time. But you can take a look here, and Sky Raiders themselves saying we're not dealing with that one. Instead, we're actually messing around a little bit more. You have that Bucky in hand, but you also got Kurdara on a Namor. all things, and then Cyberpilot is actually swapping around because I think they actually put Backpack. Okay, no, Backpack is still there. Triple DPS threat from Jeff only?
Oof. Yeah. You got the Punisher out, which we've seen very limited amount of time from Backpack, but we've certainly seen it. And the Squirrel Girl behind is going to be laying out all that damage within that lane, so you can't be trapped underneath this area. And that's where Skyraider started out. You can see that mobility coming out from Hulk as he dives around this map trying to avoid what would be a Squirrel Girl. A perfect dive would be on those DPS duelists, rather, so making sure that they can't get to work like they typically do.
Right now, Sky Raiders, as I said, having to back away here. Sir Slays on you, though, says get knighted. Bopped on the head is non-stop. They are also coming in here as a little bit interesting. They swap out to the Squirrel Girl as well. Filthy Mutant, though, going down here as Jeff Foley are continuing to find these sites. And this is not just a hard commit. This is a slow push, but the burn is doing so well. Sky Raiders can't do anything.
Yeah, Kurdara was not able to find anything because those squids are being snuffed out so incredibly fast. Backpack was behind him, although they made the switch from Punisher to Winter Soldier, knowing that this part of the map will favor that change. So not only did you get value early, but now you've got 93% on your ultimate on the Kraken impact that's coming up as well.
I mean, this is just surprising. Jeff only are surgically removing Sky Raiders every single time. It's actually why Sky Raiders have fallen so far back. Look at this. They're holding far back, making sure that they can wait. But Cyber Pilot says, yo, what's up? I got some squirrels for you. That's going to be a song being sung by Kodak, just trying to hold everyone off, but honestly, there's no one else behind. So Kodak is only able to delay for a moment. In comes the rest of Jeff only, and Sky Raiders are deleted from this battle.
Fate of both worlds, but unfortunately for Sky Raiders Orbital, both worlds, it was rock and a hard place. And Jeff was able to just take it by storm and do what they've been doing since the get-go, which is causing damage, being able to have that support on the back line, and then take out the rest of the strategist beforehand. So just because you got the Fate of both worlds doesn't mean your team is necessarily going to live. It's not the invincibility that it was back in the day, I'll tell you that. And now you're still finding it. You never get complacent if you're Backpack. You're still using that Kraken impact. Even though the battle was over, there was a new one coming, and you're able to get it off before that timer ran out.
Another snipe, though, but this time from Kadara. Kadara finally finding a couple marks, but it's only one. They go, getting ready with a little bit of safety, but the Hella goes even higher. And that Airman is saying, I see everyone. I'm not worried. That's going to be the Airman to fire off. V-Hill and Sir Slays on you. Try to put BTS on the ground. Looks like it's actually a little bit aired out. Sky Raiders this time to say it's our time to hold on as much as possible. Space was late, but the damage didn't really stick. As Filthy Mutant steps up the swing, the response is massive. As Jeff only get caught with almost nothing in the bank except for that Fate. Bijan trying to keep everyone alive, and they're doing actually quite well for it, but Sky Raiders slowed down.
All damage had to go towards that Hulk, otherwise you're going to get your strategist lifted up and slammed onto the ground. But Bijan's doing a great job to not let that distract him. I like the aggressive nature. I say aggressive nature, but really the nature to bail out a little bit to make sure that you have everybody in place to be able to then push forward once more. We talked about the Luna Snow. Will it be valuable for Sky Raiders? And right now, all eyes on Kodak to try to make this happen. They've been doing their best, Orbital, but it's got to be a little bit more here as they pop the Fate of both worlds again.
Kodak has really made sure that's on almost all the time. Kadara now going to go on high as that's a massive ult to come on out. The man himself rules the sea and brings the sea to land. Jeff only caught completely unaware.
Proteus very happy here because the Hornet Proteus was utilized to perfection. Be able to hold them in that same place is very key, especially when Jeff is so incredibly strong at being able to be mobile around this map. There's so many angles that you can attach it from. You have to have something in place, a CC to hold them there in the first place. Good combination of ultimate to utilization of their kits, and that's why Sky Raiders was able to win this fight, install this, which is something that we haven't seen against Jeff only very frequently.
Right now, this is Backpack saying, let's go ahead and slam on down. But unfortunately, what used the proper flash and used to actually reposition. But that Airman coming out with the Iron Man saying, we got to deal with this. We got to get a little bit more space. That's going to be an ult coming out here. As Sir Slays on you says, mine is better. Annihilation, triple kill. Filthy Mutant falls, and Sky Raiders just one shy of an ace.
Sir Slays on You is just ripping through, and it's been fantastic from the get-go. The Meteor, again, you had the Fate of Both Worlds laying down the damage bonus, which can be attributed to that as well. So both of those things added up. Jeff Only trying to make their push. They've been able to get close. We'll see if there's one last stand here before the second point comes out.
Backpack says there is no stand. There's only the march forward. That airman follows through. Kodak is down. And in comes the annihilations. In come the kills beyond kills. That airman saying, I am the Avenger, at least in the cinematic universe. Sky Raiders toppled.
How fitting of a name too. The Airman using the air cop or the air unit here with the Iron Man to find that flanking position. Get all eyes on Cyberpilot, who switch over again to the Captain America, and when those eyes are on him and Backpack, because of the start they've had, it just causes some absolute chaos.
Chaos is only going to continue, though. 2.5 minutes feels like an eternity as Jeff Only seeing even further. B-Hill coming in with the twist of their own. Lays the groundwork for what could be a push, but it answers back. Double ult commit. Must more, but the airman yet again! The bomb goes off and destroys any hopes. Tank down, DPS down, strategist all as well. There is the team kill of ages as Jeff Only march onwards.
And what makes them such a great team, Orbital, is the fact that they're always thinking a step ahead, because you know in their eyes that Vet Airmen did not use their ultimate, and even though they've been nerfed where it takes longer to get your ultimate, you're able to lay out that damage, get the 4K, and then you're right back to it. They're playing for their next ultimate, it shows, and they're about to make this press here to the third point as well.
Heifer doing what they can, but honestly, you can't stand against the weight of the backpack. You are over encumbered, Sky Raiders. You picked up one too many losses. Won't throw, though. About to throw that right back in the face if you can. But it's B-Gen, keeping everyone healthy and alive. Cyberpilot brings out one of 3 OGs and has a second in the back pocket. That will be Sky Raiders losing their lives. The stall tactic can only work so well. And it is GG for the attacking phase of this game, number 3.
That open second point was the only point where we hesitated and said, hey, maybe Sky Raiders has an opportunity to really show up and be able to hold this off for the extended period of time that you need on this map, because it takes a while in Spotty Islands to be able to get to that far point. The second point is hard to kind of break through, and so Jeff Only had that little bit of struggle. That's the first chink in the armor that I've personally seen. I don't know if you agree there, Orbital, from Jeff Only. So it looked like it opened the door momentarily for Sky Raiders, but not being able to stop them and seeing them march the distance here to make it 3-0 is going to make it tough on Sky Raiders.
I mean, it's just tough overall. I think Jeff Only have consistently found their groove, and for Sky Raiders, it feels like it's bold. Take a look at that. Stat line-wise,
Wow.
Backpack yet again, cresting over their personal best in a single half. 31, 2, and 10. Nasty work, but the entirety of Sky Raiders kept to single-digit kills. The only double-digit, non-stop stats.
That's crazy to me. That's absolutely insane. Just look how limited that's are on this side. Again, you can count them on one hand, essentially. What is that, 5, 10, 11 total deaths on their side? So the fact that Sky Raiders was able to hold off at all is impressive to me. You definitely need to be able to stay later in fights if you're Sky Raiders. You want to be able to cause early deaths from Jeff Only, but we'll see if they get it done here in this first engagement.
First engagement, of course, comes out with a little bit of Wolverine action. We have seen 0 Wolverine the entire time, but let's see if it slashes on through Kodak saying, better step up or step out. I'm going to bring the damage. Sky Raiders, though, I don't want to hear about the HP bars. Cyberpilot doing a pretty good job of maintaining their own and holding on for dear life. Push so far has slowed down. That's going to be a little bit of no walk. And for Slays on You, make sure that the Wolverine goes straight to respawn. Really nice timing. The heal does the exact same. Rebuff coming in as Filthy needing to make sure that their Rocket Raccoon is good to go. Jeff Only really strong start to the defense.
Yeah, and you want to be able to throw that res to a place that's maybe a little bit more advanced forward, because you're here at spawn anyways. So I get it, it takes a little bit longer, so you get that a little bit of a quick boost, but they're still not able to get out of harm's way, as Jeff Only has been able to wind it up and take them by storm. The Thing has been up close personal. They've gotten a lot of healing too. I've liked a little bit of the timing of Kodak to try to break through Jeff Only. There's been times where his teammates were in trouble, and diving in is crucial as Wolverine, but it's still not enough to break through this stronghold that is Jeff Only.
Minute 15 gone. Here come the hero swaps though. Kodak on the Squirrel Girl. We got Won't Throw on the Moon Knight of all things. And Jeff Only saying go through the entire hero list. Feel free. Won't Throw saying I'll go ahead and do so. That's going to be at least one, but can they get a little bit more? Sky Raiders forced to back away because of the ult advantage that BJ and B-Hill had, but that's an expenditure. And now they're going to pop on back Peppa going to do their same. What a multi-slam. Done though. Sky Raiders denied any sort of magnet attitude, but Sir slays on you. Ready with the meteor, slams into the mix though, but denied once again. Kadara slays on you, and Jeff Only gonna have to take to the ground now. Sky Raiders have to spend everything as well, but Jeff Only are better in the ground of basic abilities.
The Galactic Legend popped in desperation, it seemed. Kadara knew that they were going to be outshined to some degree, and now you've got the fate of both worlds to kill even more time. We're almost down to minute 45 already, and they're still holding strong and haven't had to leave their place. Very low as far as their health goes, but they're able to keep everybody alive and just be a nuisance here. Nothing seems to be kind of flying through from Sky Raiders. They had to utilize a lot of their ultimates already. You still have 2 online for Jeff Only as this next little fight is going to take place, and you're kind of watching and eyeballing when this next one will come in, and here is Bijan trying to lay out the invisible for them.
Gotta go ahead and bring out the invisible wall and bring out some extra behind, but this is gonna be a big chance. You can see the swap out. Won't Throw now onto that Wolverine, doing what they can because they're down to only a minute. They need to find some kills. Jeff Only though staying alive in more ways than one. Won't Throw taking a little bit low. Kadara ready to go with a close ult. What a catch though! The Eye of Agamotto catches the entirety of Sky Raiders. Sky Raiders cannot push further than 12 meters, and Jeff Only says, yeah, stay there.
They're like, okay, we've got Cyber Pilot. He's not dying. There's Sir Slayshu on the Magneto. He's not dying. And then on top of that, you're having to deal with, and you forgot about the Eye of Agamotto from the Doctor Strange. There is just nothing that they can find themselves around. This triple Vanguard combo has been absolutely stellar. Nonstop is trying to break into it, though.
Maybe they can do it. Kodak this time saying you don't have your DPS. Fine. We'll take time out. 20 meters now being called, but Sky Raiders, they have a long way to go. Kadara gets their first team fight win. And Jeff Only, I'll go back to the drawing board. But OT is what we're looking at. Sky Raiders, they gotta stay on that payload.
Yeah, you have to be constantly on it. And to get to this first point is already going to be a stretch. You already have a little bit of speed back to the points. You have, imagine the portal is probably somewhere they're going to dive on. They're going to find the right opportunity to do it. And sure enough, here it comes, right out onto the fight. They're going to be looking to engage this. But Fate of Both Worlds, though, is going to be pumped here for Sky Raiders, hopefully keeping them alive.
BJ holding on to the same backpack, holds their own, and remember whose time's out. Kadara tried to use the vision, but the vision ain't gonna work, and that means Sky Raiders are getting wiped here. Jeff Only, they call the portal play, they call the perfect setup. The song only heralds their victory as Jeff Only, your first seed from the DA Air Force Gaming League from the summer. They go ahead, stomp their way to an undefeated championship.
There you have it. Basically perfect. Perfect in every single map. Perfect in almost every single moment. I think they might have even been when we talk about points. Absolutely stellar work. Yes, your champions, DAFGL Summer League 2025. It goes the way of Jeff Only. And they were just clearly the best team out here. Sure, there was a lot of challenges against them to really dive into them. But overall, this team, it felt like it was hardly even a sweat, man.
No, they were chilling. They were so happy about everything. You could see them even talking in chat, and I think props to them, right? You know, even though it's a little bit BM, I get it. But look at the stats. They did so well for themselves, and they rocked the entire season. Deserved as backpack pushes a 42-4-17. Nasty work in there alone. I mean, Jeff Only, well played overall.
Yeah, it was insane. And one note that we maybe didn't call out a whole lot was the Cloak and Dagger there in that moment that had 48 assists, which was just 3 shy of how many kills that Sky Raiders had. It was ridiculous, and it all started on the first convoy map all the way Yggdrasil, where we saw, of course, that Phoenix land that pushed them back. It just, they never got any progress going, and that continued throughout the entirety of this match, Orbital.
3-0. And then a 2-0 here on the domination side of things. Jeff only consistently finding those chokeholds. And we see exactly why Vet Airman and Backpack were denied a lot of their unique heroes. A triple DPS ban, one that I haven't seen in the competitive for quite some time. And Sky Raiders still couldn't deal with this. Backpack got so much freedom to make action work. These resets on top of resets put Sky Raiders in such a difficult position.
I don't know how many times I've gone up against a Winter Soldier and heard this just over and over, guys. And I'm just saying, guys, don't feed it. Like, get out of the way. Find it. Easier said than done, especially against a team that's really familiar with the map, and that showed, and that's what ultimately led to their victory in championship here today. Give it up one more time for Jeff Only, the #1 seed, your champions.
V-Hill, Cyber Pilot, the Vet Airman Bijan, as well as Sir Slays on You and Backpack 6 that rounded out in the competitive side, as well as to their subs. The sub roster making sure that they could always help out if necessary. DAFGL Day 1 Marvel Rivals is completed. But of course, you don't want to go anywhere. We want to hear from the players themselves because it's a treat and a half at the end of the day. So we're going to go to a very, very short break. When we come back and interview with one of the champions to get their thoughts on how the season went down. Don't go anywhere. Hello, welcome back, everyone. We are set for an interview with Backpack from Jeff, only the highest DPS so far, and in more ways than one, a champion at the end of the day here for the DAFGL Summer Playoffs Finals for the side of the Marvel Rivals. Backpack, welcome to the desk. How you feeling after that straight up amazing victory? Unfortunately, I do apologize, Backpack. I'm not sure if you were talking. We cannot hear you, at least us, on this desk. So I want to make sure before we go any further that we can hear you and your glorious insights, because I'm sure this is a treat and a half. Oh, they DC'd apparently. Okay, they weren't even here, so we're crazy on our own end. We're crazy on our own end, but we do want to talk to them because they did amazingly well at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's glorious victory for sure, not glorious internet. At least hopefully they can get back in soon though. Backpack, it was insane. I mean, when we talk about being able to just kind of lay down damage and allow your strategist to work for you, that was a huge part of it. So I'm excited to be able to talk to him about that and just how they were able to work with the rest of the team to see how they contributed from his perspective. I think it's going to be a very quite insightful as we gear up to get him back here in this call.
Yeah, I would be remiss to say that I wish we had more games. I really do wish that we got to see a lot more. I wish we had gotten, all three, all five, and all the follow through. I wish we even had like some of the OTs. I would love to see a draw, and so we get to see even more games out of these players, because theoretically we could have seen like 3 convoy and then 2 convergence. Like that actually could have happened, and we could have had the max amount of games played to get to see even more Backpack and the rest of the squad. But even though we get Backpack, we also have to give credit to someone else that I think deserves a lot of credit in the DPS value. Yes, everyone did their job, but Vet Airman, like some of the high impact action that came through was wildly impressive.
I mean, on that Iron Man, that speaks for itself, just the way you've been able to snowball things. I talked about it during, as it was going down, but a lot of that had to do with the flanks, right? Being able to cause enough damage to quickly tick up what is typically an expensive ultimate to try to get up there, especially if you've been playing Iron Man for a long time. It certainly feels a lot longer. And so being able to cause that damage on the flanks, find the right positioning in order to kind of snowball those so you get multiple ultimates over the course of the map, that was strong. But it wasn't just Iron Man either. They did a great job on a multitude of different duelists, even though it was Sky Raiders who was certainly banning a whole lot of the duelists out of his hands, still find a way to find value. You can say the same for Backpack as well.
Oh yeah, it was a treat, and now they have gone ahead and secured their prizing. Keep in mind, they get the Latisse, the trophy, a DAFGL flag, up to $100 and an action figure of their choice, by the way, which is the best part. I mean, listen, they got some nice figurines over there in Marvel Rivals and throughout the entirety, and not only that, a $200 AFG gift card. I'm really, really hoping that's assorted to each of the players here on the day, because that would be a treat in and of itself. So a massive prize pool of their own. I think they're ready to go. Right now, we are going to try and toss it back over, and we want to hear the ever so lovely voice of Backpack,
Please.
one of 2 DPS players for the team. Backpack, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can!
There we
Backpack,
go.
welcome here to
Let's
the
go.
desk. Congratulations on your thrilling undefeated run, which I can only assume started back in the regular season. How are you feeling now that you are the champions of this summer league?
Honestly, it's just a big thanks to the team. It's a great experience. Perfect way to lean into these MRC matches that we have. So just overall, feels great, feels victorious. Awesome team, awesome experience.
Yeah, you already contributed to your team as well. And so that kind of leads into my next question, which how important is it and how great is it to have strategists behind you that you can rely on a regular basis? I mean, they seem like they were key. V-Hill was making some plays. Bijan goes without saying. They were huge in being able to assist what you were able to accomplish. What was that like, having that confidence?
Honestly, there wasn't a single part in the game where any of us felt concerned about the status of our team or anything like that. There was a misplay by V-Hill with his Q, but that's just all in good fun. It's just really great to play with a team like this, that you can reside on everybody. You know they're going to do great, and you can play the way you play.
And you also showed different looks as well. We saw at Spidey Islands for a little bit, you were running the 3 Vanguard composition there too. So that capability obviously has contributed to a little bit of communication there too. What were the comms like as you were putting together this awesome run?
Honestly, it's just really clear comms. Everybody calls out what they're doing, what they need. Supports are typically the ones talking the most because, the backbone of every team is your support line. So typically it's just calm, collected, and quick.
All right. I like it. I like it. Now, I guess my final question is, how much respect did you feel coming towards you as well as Vet Airman when you saw the triple DPS ban out in that final game? Did you guys like finally feel validated for how much work you guys were doing?
Honestly, nobody likes to be target banned, but there is some sort of satisfaction in it. Just luckily, Vet and myself, we expect that kind of thing, so we play a handful of DPS characters. So it's just a great ego boost. It makes you feel warm inside.
As you should. You did a ridiculously good job, and the rest of your team did as well. Undefeated here, at least on stream, and I'm sure through the rest of the playoff bracket. Do you have any final words, any parting things that you want to give to either your teammates, anyone that has supported you through this run, or anyone else of that nature?
Honestly, just a shout out to everybody on the team. We all put in that work to be great at the characters that we play. So big alties by Cyber really set the tempo for a lot of that match. Great support line. So yeah, just shout out to everybody. Then the shameless shout out to my wife. Thanks for letting me play the game while you watch the kids.
Hey,
Yes,
that's
sir.
awesome to
Yes,
hear.
sir. I know that game.
All right. With that, Backpack, thank you so much for the interview. Congratulations on your victory. Enjoy the $200 gift card that you're going to get, as well as the action figure at the end of the day. You got to make sure to probably shout that out on social. We got to see what you pick up. Thank you so much.
Absolutely will. Thank you.
With that being said, that's day one. Bearlight, that's as simple as that. I mean, listen, if you're going to get a championship, you do it in record pace time. I'm excited because that's only one match. We have another day and 2 other champions to crown across Street Fighter 6, as well as in a kill race on the day in day 2.
Yeah, and what a full day it was, too. We'll get to see in just a second. It was fantastic. Day 2 is set and geared up for some greatness as well. Obviously, you mentioned it'll be Warzone and Street Fighter 6 as finals are going to be cooking. I mean, it's going to be absolutely outstanding. And my coach always told me, you got to earn it. Today, we found a team that certainly earned it, and then some with only Jeff. They were outstanding, and that's just basically what the day was all about here, man.
We loved every single moment of it, and we hope that you join us for the next as well. Same time, same place, DAFGL Summer Playoff Finals. And, of course, beyond will continue on Sunday, tomorrow at 12 p.m. EDT. Set your timers and set your clocks. We will see you there. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Orbital. With me has been Bearlight, our entire production crew behind us. We'll see you all later.